Imagine standing on the edge of the unknown, staring at an ocean that hides predators as long as two men and as fierce as a python. Today, I will take you deep into that mystery. This is not just a fishing trip. It is an expedition into danger, into wonder, and into the heart of the wild sea. Breathe in, because this adventure will test the limits of courage. We begin on Masila Island in the Sultanate of Oman, a land where desert dunes meet the turquoise waters of the Arabian Sea. Here, stories are told of monstrous creatures lurking beneath the waves, guarding coral palaces and rocky caves. My challenge is to seek one of these legendary beasts, the giant Moray Eel, also known locally as the naked breast eel. These eels inhabit coral reefs and underwater caves, usually between 5 and 30 meters below the surface. Most of them never grow beyond a single meter, but there are whispers of giants. 2 meters long, muscular, aggressive, beasts that strike with lightning speed and hold on with jaws strong enough to crush bone. I was not alone. A brother, a friend from Oman, joined me on this expedition. He is a diver raised by these waters who knows the language of currents and the secrets of the reef. Together, we prepared our gear: wetsuits, oxygen tanks, and simple but effective bait: lobsters and octopuses, irresistible to moray eels. With each piece of equipment secured, the excitement grew. This was not just about fishing. This was about facing the unknown, the first dive, the moment when you leave the comfort of air and surrender yourself to the sea. The silence is overwhelming, broken only by the sound of your own breath, slow and heavy through the regulator. The light of the sun fades as we descend, swallowed by the blue. Coral arches rise like underwater cathedrals. Fish of every color dart around us, brilliant and fast. But my eyes were fixed on the shadows, the caves, the hidden places where predators wait. For 1 hour, we searched, cave after cave, hole after hole. Each dark entrance could hold a giant, or nothing at all. The suspense never fades, because each time you peer into the shadows, you know something could be staring back at you. After 2 hours, the fatigue began to set in. Oxygen levels falling, muscles aching. We pressed on. By the 3rd hour, we had checked more than 20 underwater caves. Still no giant. Only smaller eels no longer than a meter, snapping at our bait but unworthy of the challenge. Then suddenly movement. Out of the corner of my eye, a shape, massive and serpentine, sliding from the darkness. My heart stopped. There it was. A moray eel unlike any I had ever seen. Its head alone was larger than my arm. Its body thick and muscular, stretching nearly 2 meters. The beast moved with deliberate menace, its jaw opening and closing, revealing rows of sharp teeth glistening like ivory knives. Its eyes glowed with an ancient predatory hunger. For a moment, time froze. Approaching a creature like this is not a decision taken lightly. Every instinct tells you to swim away. But the mission was clear. With steady breaths, I signaled to my companion. Together we moved closer, carefully, silently, hearts racing. The eel snapped at the bait with ferocity, shaking the lobster until fragments drifted through the water. In that instant, we made our move. It was a battle of strength and strategy, man against beast, courage against instinct. The water churned with sudden violence, the eel thrashing, twisting, fighting to return to its cave. We held firm, every muscle burning, lungs screaming for air. And then finally, victory. The giant was ours. Breaking the surface with that creature in our grasp was a moment of triumph I will never forget. The ocean roared behind us, waves crashing against the rocks as if to reclaim what we had taken. But the beast was caught, and the danger had been faced. We brought the eel to shore where the adrenaline began to fade, replaced by awe. Few have ever seen such a creature up close. Fewer still have captured one. But in Oman, a catch is never wasted. Here, the moray eel is more than a predator. It is food, a tradition, a story passed down through generations. That night, we prepared The eel in the traditional way, a hearty stew simmered slowly with spices, herbs, and the essence of the sea. As the aroma rose, I could feel the weight of the journey lifting, from fear and danger beneath the waves to warmth and flavor around the fire. The taste was strong, rich, unlike anything else, a flavor earned only through challenge and risk. This was more than an expedition. It was a lesson, a reminder that the world still holds mysteries waiting to be uncovered. That courage is found not in the absence of fear, but in facing it. And that adventure is the bridge between man and the wild. What you witnessed today was not just fishing. It was survival. It was discovery. It was life lived at the edge of possibility. And this is only the beginning. Every Saturday I bring you stories like this. Stories of distant lands, hidden creatures, and the thrill of exploring the unknown. If you want to live these adventures with me, subscribe now. Activate the bell icon so you never miss a moment. Share this journey with those who crave wonder.